The Golden Globes are coming. The Golden Globes are coming. And guess what, folks? The awards are going to Asian-originating stories and a bunch of Hollywood fluff and stuff that nobody's ever seen. It's a picture of what it looks like in Tinseltown indeed these days, as they are chasing anything that has not yet been destroyed by wokeism, and at the same time, they're a jokeism all across the Sunset Boulevard. Hello and welcome back. It is a pleasure as ever, folks. We are so happy you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, we still use that kind of gender language around here. Welcome to the Pro Channel, where we continue to explain entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we do. Folks, let's dive in. We're going to tell you why Hollywood in the awards season is showing exactly who they are, where they are, and why they might not even like being the kind of industry they've become. Click the like button, share it out, drop a comment, and without a doubt, it's time to get started. Hollywood is chasing Asia, and they've got awards for them. Let's talk about it right now. Out of Geeks and Gamers, this is by Alex Gurzo. K-pop Demon Hunters and Zootopia 2 square off for Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes. Now, I'm going to tell you, though, as much as they love Asia, and why do they love Asia? Zootopia is a rock star in China, but domestically, it's just doing okay. I mean, it's better than okay. K-pop Demon Hunters, on the other hand, phenomenally well received, but again, speaks to Asian culture. It's all about Asia these days, and we're fine with that because Western society has gone astray. Award season has been kicked off by K-pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2, and more of 2025's most prestigious films, which are among the nominees for next year's Golden Globes, the annual event's 83rd? What the heck is that RD doing all the way up there? Ceremony. The nominees were announced today in the surprise hit K-pop Demon Hunters, a Netflix movie that saw limited theatrical release in June alongside its debut on Netflix, was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Animated, along with Zootopia 2, which is currently stomping its way towards $1 billion at the worldwide box office. The two juggernauts will battle it out with Pixar's Elio, yeah right, the anime Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, and that may have a good chance at winning. You've got Little Emil, that's not going to do anything, and the character of Rain, not going to do anything. Okay, but folks, I'm going to show you something. I got to show you this because you got to see how much Hollywood actually hates doing this. They got to do it to survive, but they really hate it. Okay, we're going to go all the way down to film. Let me show you what they've got as the best motion picture. Okay, for best motion picture drama, Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners.
I've heard of two of those.
This is what Hollywood thinks is the best motion picture for drama. What about for musical comedy? Get ready for this. Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vague, and One Battle After Another. Which
comedy?
Exactly! They're so desperate for Leonardo to get the win on this thing that hates on the conservatives that they're declaring it's a comedy.
And it got in comedy and musical over Wicked?
Yes. And notice, no Wicked for good in the musical best motion picture. I told you it was dying. I told you they're trying to get away from it. They don't want to touch it because they know it's unpopular. If we go down to, listen, there you have it animated. You got K-pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2, Demon Slayer. Listen, in the categories that matter, it's all about Asia. It's all about trying to chase China. It's all about trying to get to South Korea. Why? Because what Hollywood is serving up, and look at this. They're putting up Leonardo DiCaprio, best performance by a male actor in a motion picture. Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another. They're so desperate for that to be a winner, but it's not. It's not. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked for Good. You can't put Ariana in there because Cynthia has to win based on Hollywood rules. But they're chasing after Asia because they know that's where the money's going to be made. Zootopia 2 and K-pop Demon Hunters, whether it's China, South Korea, Japan, that's where the stories are coming from now. That's where they're going to. And all this other frou-frou stuff that Hollywood wants to promote, they know that in the marketplace, it's DOA. Guys, what do you think about this? And which one's going to win, K-pop Demon Hunters or Zootopia 2?
I would say what should win is probably K-pop Demon Hunters, but what will win is Zootopia 2.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I actually think it might go, well, Hollywood hates Netflix right now.
Yeah. Yes, they do. And they love giving Disney, their flowers, and this movie, people do seem to like it. So we'll see.
there is a question right now. I know culture has been skeptical about Zootopia 2. It's not doing phenomenally well in the United States. It's kind of, I don't know. It's not as
China, Japan, South Korea. It's cleaning up.
Right. So the question is, which way does Hollywood want to go with this? Do they want a future where they're aiming for that audience versus domestic, or do they want a world with K-pop Demon Hunters where they're trying to basically grab hold of that culture without going for the people who live in that culture, if you know what I mean? I'll show you real quick the numbers for Zootopia 2. It's pulling up right now. Go ahead, Marvin.
Well, Asian culture is having a. I just imagined Asian culture casino. But the Asian culture is having a moment in the United States right now. We're seeing it with anime. We're seeing it with, even food. There are more Asian restaurants around now than ever before. I mean, you're talking Korean barbecue places, ramen places. They're everywhere, and I'm here for it. I love it, man. It is, I've been on this train since high school. I have always been a weeb, so I am all here for it.
I'm trying to get this pulled up from the numbers. There it goes. Finally, that website's struggling today. Sorry, folks, for the pause there and trying to relay this information to you. We had a hiccup here with the numbers. Their servers, not ours. Zootopia 2 right now. This is what's so fascinating to me as Hollywood chases whatever this is. Domestically, it's made $220 million. At the international box office, it's almost at 700.
Yeah, but there are no numbers to back that up.
Okay, but so you're questioning whether or not, because if we go here, you can see that China is going to be where most of this is coming from. China has contributed $300 million. $300 million, essentially, $297 right now out of China for Zootopia.
Yeah, where is the other, $300 million international? Show me where that shows up there.
What you mean? You can tally it. France is throwing in $15 million. Mexico's throwing in 10.5. We can add it up.
From Mexico?
South Korea's got $11 million in the bank on it.
25 from South Korea in total.
Nothing from Saudi Arabia yet?
Darn. Got it. Yeah. But this is a movie that's doing exceedingly well in China. The problem is, of that $300 million that Disney has made in China, 20%. Only 20% is coming back. Yeah. As opposed to 55% domestically.
Yeah. So and when you look at the domestic performance, there's multiple, press X to doubt kind of moments here, because again, the numbers is not representing the numbers like they normally would with this film. It's kind of been very strange that we aren't seeing each market in the U.S. represented in a number format. I'm having a big problem with this. I can't find numbers in any of the places that I should, which would include even Box Office Mojo, which isn't representing enormous numbers in the box office here in the States. But maybe representing numbers overall with, its initial opening, which they're saying domestic, this thing is sitting at 220.9 million, 697 million internationally, which again, I can do math. I can add things together. I don't see it anywhere. So
I'm not personally doubting the numbers too much on this, okay. But I'm happy to see the evidence when you got it. I'll say this though, part of what I think is happening with these movies doing so well that are related to Asian culture, and maybe Zootopia is that. I perhaps that's the case. But whatever the case might be, I think part of what we're seeing is that the Western IPs have been destroyed. And now people are looking for something somewhere else that still has a good story, that still has their heroes, that has their mythos, that's untainted.
we are seeing it in video games too, Pro. We're seeing Japanese video games are the ones that you go to for quality now. China is producing amazing games right now. They just put out a trailer for this game called Godslayers, and about it basically is like Avatar: The Last Airbender with like controlling the elements and stuff like that, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is, as we're looking at this, and Hollywood, these awards are largely about narrative and political power. So it's really interesting to try to suss out, are they going to support Zootopia and going after China? Or are they going to go after the Korean idea with K-pop Demon Hunters? But then that would support Netflix. Hard to say what they're going to do. We know that the nonsense they're going to support otherwise is, a bunch of Hollywood coastal fluff that nobody actually is going to see. And that means that it's irrelevant. But if you look at the box office for Moana 2 and Zootopia 2 domestically, Culture, here's where I think you're onto something. Zootopia 2 is actually underperforming Moana 2 significantly. And I think that might actually continue. So Moana 2, which is not a great movie at all, outperforms Zootopia 2. The entire story of Zootopia 2 seems to be driven by the international box office. Yeah. That movie, it would not surprise me at this point if it reaches $1.5, $1.7 billion, but it's going to come from Beijing, and it's going to stay with Beijing in terms of money. 80% of that box office is going to stay in China. Disney is literally enriching Beijing.
This is an incredible anomaly also for this year in particular. A lot of years, when you go back to 2019 and you look at the international box office, it was typically bigger for every single blockbuster movie. This year, that has not been the case. And not that we've had good movies at all this year anyway, but this Zootopia thing performing the way it is internationally is a complete anomaly for the rest of the box office for this entire year, as most things have actually performed better domestically than internationally. And that to me is what I found to be strange, which is why I kind of agree with Culture. There's some weird stuff going on with the numbers. However, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely different.
Something odd. I don't know. Maybe the CCP is buying all kinds of tickets for the kiddos to see Zootopia 2. I don't know.
Can I suggest something though? The European markets that seem to dominate game production. When we talk about Ubisoft and other places that have been driving game development, they've been reticent to develop more Asian kinds of games or targeted at Asians specifically. And when they do a very poor job of it. Like Assassin's Creed this year was complete trash. But
Culture, what do you think about the argument that Clair Obscur, which is one of the biggest games out there, is kind of like merging Asian gameplay with French cultural and artistic expression?
I would say you're onto something there, but not quite to the extent that it could have and should have in order to perform even better in Asian markets. But it's strange. I mean, they literally pushed away the Japanese audience and even the Chinese audience with the Assassin's Creed game because of how poorly they developed it and the direction that they went with it. Because of Yasuke and all the things tied to the fake lore that was around that particular human being. But the gaming market has moved away from Asia, that the American developers and the European developers, whereas the Asian developers, they're embracing their culture and presenting it to the rest of the world in a dominant form. What was the game by the Chinese developer that they tried to discredit out of the gate? Black Myth Wukong. And that thing just performed like nobody's business. So is it surprising to me that with successes like Niza 2 and all these other things that this is happening? No. It's surprising to me that Zootopia, which is not what I would consider an Asian story or Asian friendly story, is doing so well. Do you know what it is?
It's cute talking animals. That's the thing.
Right. But it's there. Right. And it's also not anti-family.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Which I think has been the biggest turnoff, not just for Disney things, but for anything being developed in the States and in Europe, is its lack of appeal to Asian culture, because Asians still have strong support for family. Even China does these days. Not so much for romance, which is probably why, it was good that they didn't get Nick and Judy together in this iteration, but they will by the third one. You're going to have a romance.
Let me tell you what I think the takeaway is, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong on this. Looking at the Golden Globes and what Hollywood is focused on, everybody pay attention to this. If you go through the list, and I highly recommend people go to Geeks and Gamers and read this article by Alex Gurzo.
Yeah, Alex does a good job.
The focus is on Asian culture and then the stuff you've never heard of that Hollywood desperately wishes would be relevant, but it is not.
Yeah.
That's the two categories. Stuff that Hollywood wishes anybody had seen and they have not, versus the popular things in smaller doses, but the popular things that are all about Asian culture. Yeah. That's what Hollywood has become right now. They are forced to co-opt Asian stuff they have not yet destroyed, and then everything else in this award ceremony is just a bunch of nonsense that appeals to 1% of the population, and they wish, oh, how they wish that you would care about it. That's how I see the current Hollywood as it's constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Oscars are the same to me.
I think they're in love with the love letter to the anti-FA folks. I think, it's pretty obvious they've still continued to push that even in cinema today, despite its lack of performance. And underperformance would be the kindest way you could describe that film.
I see Hollywood in shambles right now.
Yeah.
I see Hollywood, and maybe that's why their horror movies are actually performing okay. Because I think that Hollywood currently lives in some sort of horror show. Nothing they thought was going to come to pass politically and geopolitically, none of it came true. So maybe that's why they're excelling in the horror genre right now, is because at least that feels authentic to them to make a good scary movie, because they're living in one.
As my good friend Tom in the audience says from Midnight's Edge, the horror audience always shows up.
They do.
There you go. We must bid adieu for now, but folks, I encourage you, if you enjoyed this kind of video, we have plenty more and more on the way every single day. We do it for you. Check out the WDW Pro Channel and go click on videos. You can see the most recent ones and enjoy all the stuff we're talking about, and hopefully give us some feedback, because we would love to cater what we're doing for you. You are the consumer. You are our valued guest. It's how entertainment companies once upon a time treated the people who bought their stuff, and we're still doing it here. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say goodbye, we always say this because we think you indeed are special and matter. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.